Hello, 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 family. How are you? I believe I'm up and popping. Thank you, thank you. Let me see. Comments, comments. Probably chat's brand. Let me see. Still getting it together. Still getting to know everything. But today, I know I've done a lot of talk about mental health, but I am a real estate agent as well as a motivated speaker. Joking. Um, just spreading information. Uh, but yes, I am a real estate agent, and I have hey Rock Peace. I just want to go over briefly the home buying process. Um, because I definitely everybody's not privy to information, so I don't try to approach anything as if everybody is already understanding of the information. So I will try to give you a quick rundown. I'm going to see if I can download this document so you all can see. If you all can see, so let me see overlay. Boom. So y'all can see what diagram I'm going off of. Give me a couple quick cliff notes. That's the overlay. Okay. Well, that's what I'm going to be going by. But obviously, you all, I'm not going to be able to let you all see it at the same time. So here we go. If you intend on purchasing a property, what I would suggest is that you speak to a real estate professional. Of course, you're going to have friends and family members that are going to give you tons and tons of useful advice. But for legalities and other variations of information, it's always good to speak to someone who is a professional and who does it on a regular basis. Basically, to get a understanding of pricing and where things are in the market. You also want to understand where your credit is, your debt to income ratio, and your savings account. I want to say, first of all, it is always good, of course, the higher the better as far as your credit score is concerned. Anything over the 600 to 720 range is it's pretty good to me. You'll get the best interest rate available. Um, it can go as low as 620, and anything below 620 is going to be problematic. So of course, the higher the better. So we're going to start with we're going to just say you want to work to be in your high 600s for credit score. You want to also, my rule of thumb would be to be a little excessive, but I would say at least at the minimum have 8% of your purchase price, 8% of your purchase price. That would be 3.5% down payment and the rest for your closing costs. Now it can break down. I know that 8% is a little high, but it's better to be safe than sorry. And that's just specifically for the buying process. It is also a good rule of thumb to have at least 3 to 6 months of your bills set aside before you go into the process. So once you have your finances and stuff together, I would say go and speak to a loan officer to get pre-approved. Now, the loan officer, he will be the he is the expert, first of all, and the deciding factor as to where you stand and how much property you can afford. Now, I don't know the specifics. I do have uh, someone, and well, I have colleagues that I deal with, and I can have one of them come on to give a better breakdown. But they definitely go by your debt to income ratio, and it's always good to make sure beforehand that you pay as much of your bills down. And sidebar, if you are serious about buying a property, which most people say that they are, once they go down this road, it is imperative for you not to purchase any big ticket items, nothing at all that they would have to pull your credit for. Do not buy any big ticket items. And I would say also have a specific account that you will be working with, because once you have the things that the loan officer will ask for, once you have this specific account, that will be the account that they go to for all of your information. So the pre-approval, you go to the loan officer, he's going to ask you for pay stubs, uh, your W-2s, your bank statements, probably 2 to 6 months at the most, 2 years of your taxes, and they will break down how much you can afford based on those documents. Of course, if you're self-employed 1099s, they they scrutinize 1099s to the dime. So just be prepared. Do not get frustrated, even though during the regular process you'll be frustrated. But if you are a W-2 employee, you'll still get kind of frustrated. So just be patient, because it is a process and it can be a little stressful. So once you are pre-approved, they will give you documentation that says, okay, Tanya or Fred are pre-approved for 400,000, and you have this documentation. Now it's time for you to search for a property. I want to say this is the fun part, which it is kind of exciting, but in certain climates, there's different variations of things that can happen. So what you would do is present that to the real estate agent, preferably me, and I will look up properties in the designated area that you give me, the size of the property, the landscape, the lot size. So whatever your specifications are, that will be the determining factor of the properties that I specifically look for you. And then category, I will send you the information, and you then choose the properties that you would like to preview. I will schedule those through the broker, uh, through whoever agency that is providing the property, and we will go out and we will start to look at these properties. Now, this process can be easy if you allow yourself to be a little flexible, and it can be a little difficult if you are a tooth and nail type of individual in your specifics. The problem that I come by are the $600,000, $700,000 bracket people that only qualify for 300,000. You have to be a little flexible when your finances are not allowing you to be in a position to buy those type of things. And there are also other things that you can take care of after the fact, such as appliances. The basic thing to pay attention to when you're buying a property, if you are not on the top end of your finances at the moment, is to make sure that the property you have has great foundation, no cracks in the foundation, roof. Uh, there's no leaks. There's no water leaks anywhere. Basically, the foundation and everything is what you want. The area is what you want, and some of the things you can work on, or you can basically just wait until you get the finances that will allow you to get the property that you want. Now, we will go out and we will look at properties, and this process, like I said, it can be quick or it can take some time. I have been in situations where it lasted a little over 6 months, and I've had situations where clients see what they want, they like it, know that they have to fix up on a thing or two, and they'll close on the property. And I think I had one that closed in like 3 weeks, and they're still in the property and they love it. They fixed on everything that they needed to fix on. Uh, I'll go through the details of that, but we went through and got negotiated some funds from the seller to be able to fix up the things that needed to be fixed in the property. So once you search and you find the property that you want, that is the time that we make an offer on the property. So there's only one way that I can see that we can make the offer on the property. Basically, we are already in. We're looking based on the financial margin that the bank has given you. We can also do a CMA to compare the properties in that specific area to make sure that we are right down to the number of the price that you want to ask for with the property. Now, these days in this climate, a lot of properties that I'm coming by are going for a considerable amount more than usual. So that has to be taken into account as well. Well, once we write the contract, we go over the details that you specify in the contract. In a perfect world, they accept the offer, and then we start on all of the different things that we have to do to complete the contract. Now, after the contract is accepted, usually what I do is allow 7 to 14 days for us to do all of the inspections. That is termite inspection, foundation inspection, roof inspection, whatever inspections that needs and can be done. I would recommend any and everybody to do so because there are things that you cannot see that professionals are trained to be able to find out for you. And once we get the contractor to check the property out and all of the things that are wrong with the property, that kind of gives us negotiating power. And we could take those things and go back to the seller and we can negotiate the price based on the things that need to be worked on. So once we get that, we get the documentation and it's presented to the seller. They get the documents. They can say yay or nay to whatever our demands are, because they do have, I think, they have 3 to 7 days. No, I think like around 3 days to reply or respond. And if they approve or go with whatever your demands are, then that's perfect. Then we can move on to the next phase, which would be you obtaining your insurance, um, your insurance, and all of the other things that you need to get prep yourself for the closing process. And it is around this time as well that you should be receiving your full approval from the bank. And at the beginning of the process, we would have already understood what the closing date was, and we'll have that already stabilized for the closing date. So after we already have everything in escrow, we have the insurance already in place, then the bank will transfer the funds that you need to close to the title company, and the funds that you need to go to closing will be sent via wire or through a cashier's check. And then on the closing day, we will do a final inspection in the morning, depending on the time, because we can't do it the day before. But the day before or the day of the closing, we would do the final walkthrough to make sure that the property is as we asked it to be, and then we go to closing. Now, quick sidebar: when writing your contracts, they have a EMD that we we require to write a contract, and this is called an earnest money deposit. Most people like to use 1% of the total amount of the property to put down as the earnest money deposit. But I have seen as little as $1,000 to secure it. And this is basically just saying that you're invested and you're serious about purchasing this property. Now, a lot of, let me see, I got a couple. Let me see. Let's make it there. Okay. Okay. So a couple of things that come across my radar. Um, People always ask about first time home buyers, which is great because, and I'm going to speak specifically about Maryland. In Maryland, they have the MMP programs for home buyers, but counties do have specific uh, they have specific grants that are for specific areas. So your loan officer, you, and uh, I would do it as well. You can find these different grants, which will also, I would say, it would add at least 15 to 30, 15 to 30 days onto the process, because once you do all of the paperwork on your loan officer's portion, then they will look over the documents and approve it for their through their criteria. And always be mindful that these grants or the funds that they give you, they are incentives, but they're actually also loans. And this is it could be free money, but there are stipulations. Some of the stipulations say you'll have to live in the property for 5 to 10 years, or maybe it's 5 to 10 years, and then the price that you owe back to them goes down. Most of them, if you refinance or you sell it, you automatically pay back the money that you got. But yeah, most of the programs, you will have an option to pay on them, or they defer the payment to your almost complete with paying your 30-year mortgage, and then that amount that they gave you comes due. Just be mindful and understand that even though they give it to you, it's not free money. It is money that you will pay back in one way or another. Like I said before, uh, make sure that you have your documentation together when you're self-employed, um, and be aware of your year to year income when you're a 1099. Because even though you might make a certain amount, if you took losses within that time period that you want to purchase a property, that can hinder your amount that they will allow you to borrow from. And if you are a dual career agent, or excuse me, a dual career individual, and you have a W 2 and a 1099 situation, even though together your buying power would be great, if you've taken a loss within that time period, it can take away from the income portion from one area or another, just to be aware. But uh, let me see. There are there are a few different types of properties out there for people to pick from. I'm just going to name the ones that I deal with, or that I have dealt with, and that is condos that are co-op prop. There are co-op properties which are cooperative, um, townhomes, and single family homes. Of course, when you can include you can include 4 units, but that's when you're borderlining um, becoming an investor of some sort and having an asset and not a liability. Another topic. Um, but to break down, let's break down the different aspects of the properties. The co-op community, when you are looking to purchase a property and it is in a cooperative, in a cooperative, you do not own title to a specific place. You have a specific place, but you do not own a specific place. You get title to a percentage of the community in a cooperative. And when purchasing in a cooperative, it's good to note that most of the time they do not allow you to rent those properties out. So if you see that you come by a cooperative property, and be specific when looking at these properties and understand that they do not allow you to rent, they are not for investors. And when you buy these properties, in order for you to actually complete the transaction, you have to be approved by a board of members for you to get into that community. So, yes, it is a process that you have to go through, and you do have to pay monthly dues just like a condo or in the same price range as a condo. But that is the cooperative. The main thing, you don't have title to a specific location or an address. You own a piece of the community, which is broke down into percentages. Now, the condos, on the other hand, they they usually have fees like a cooperative that they take care of your gas, your electric, um, your heat, your water, and it's bundled up in your condo fee. Uh, and that's usually what makes those higher than when you start getting over to the townhouses. But the condos, usually you can rent those out, and those usually look a little bit more attractive to buyers who are looking to spend a little bit of money and have something that they can keep as a rental property for the future. Well, with the condos as well, you get a specific address, and you own and have title to that specific location. Understand, when you do acquire a condo, from my understanding, depending on the areas, banks want to know the delinquency rating of this community. Because in some condo communities, if the people are not up to date on their condo fees, the banks are less likely to lend you funds on that property. And a good rule of thumb to know or to be able to look out for is, if in the listing of that property, they say that they only allow for cash buyers or conventional loans, there might be something to look into. I would say look into it anyway, because you want to be fully aware of what you're getting yourself into, and you are buying by the contract. And once you're in, you basically have to take care of those fees like everybody else are supposed to. Then the next type of property, and I can just bundle those two together. Nope. I want townhouse. The townhouses, uh, I want to say though they're kind of in the vein of single family, as you basically own these. Uh, it's just, of course, with townhouses or row homes, they are connected. They are attached in one form or another, even though they might be an in unit. They might be it might be two of them side by side, but the townhomes are usually connected to another property, and you own that. And most of the communities nowadays, they have HOA fees, those home association fees that are associated with the purchases, but you can own those outright, and that will be your property to do with as you choose. And then single families are the same, which some of the communities have home associations. Some older communities are starting to try to come together and create some type of association. So they will hold their neighborhood to certain standards like home associations do. But I have definitely found and dealt with people that want to make sure that the property that they have are not bound by any rules and regulations, and they're kind of off the grid so they can live in their community free of anybody being able to tell them what to do with their property. So, um, if you all have any questions or concerns, or you want any information, you want to know about the process that you're going through, I only charge $7.99 and $799 an hour for consultation. Joking. Just give me a call, 240-752-2357. If you want to check some things out, if you already pre-approved, we can get started on anything. But mostly, if you have questions about anything in the process, you can give me a call and let me know. You can look up property on my site, LarryMartinRealEstate.com. You can email me at LarryMartinRealEstate@gmail.com, or you can give me a call or text, or inbox me, direct message me, whatever, if you want to start a process or you have any questions. Thank you for listening. I just wanted to do a little quick something to make sure that I stay on this Thursday night information impactful time on my little one mark moment. Thank you all for tuning in. Uh, Good night.